Hi mathematicians. Today we are going to learn about complementary and supplementary angles, but not only learning about them, how do you find a missing angle to a complementary or supplementary angle? So I know that you watched a video earlier that was talking about and defining complementary and supplementary angles, so I just want to review that information with you. So the first one we have is complementary angles, and with complementary angles, I want us to look at this particular angle. We know that this is a right angle, and right angles are 90 degrees. And complementary angles have two angles that form a 90 degrees. So it may look like this, where you have a ray that connects two angles together by a common endpoint and a common side, where you might have angle 1 and angle 2. And both of these angle measurements added up together would form 90 degrees. Supplementary would simply be an angle that has two rays and a common endpoint. We know that this particular angle is 180 degrees because it forms a straight line. This is known as a supplementary angle. Now, if we had supplementary angles, would simply be where you would have two angles that add up to 180 degrees. So if I was to split this one, I would see that angle 1 and angle 2 added up together would equal 180 degrees. So now that we know the different types of angles, if they're complementary and if they're supplementary, let's try to find the missing angle to one of them. So let's go ahead and take a look at this particular complementary angle or right angle first. And let's say that I just kind of create two angles, causing it to be complementary angles. Because I know that it is a 90-degree angle on the outside, I know that this has to add up to 90 degrees. And let's say that our angle here is 62 degrees. And we're trying to find angle X. Well, since we know that it's a 90-degree angle on the outside, it's called a complementary angle because two angles together are going to complement each other and they're going to form a right angle. So what we would do is take the information that we have, which is I know they're going to add up to a 90. So I'm going to take 90 degrees. And since we already have one of the angles that we know, 62 degrees, I'm going to subtract that. If I subtract these two numbers, I'm going to find out what the missing angle is. So again, I'm taking what I know the angle should add up to, 90 degrees. I'm going to subtract it by what we already know. And when I subtract that information, I get 28 degrees. So angle X is 28 degrees. How do I know that's true? Well, I can simply take my, my angle 62 and my angle 28, and if I add them together, they should form 90 degrees, and they do. So those are our complementary angles. Now, to find the supplementary angles or the angles that are missing, let's go ahead and do 140 degrees, and we're missing this side over here, or the X angle. So again, looking at these, this angle, I know that in all, it's going to be a straight line here, so that forms 180 degrees. These two angles form a supplementary angles because both of the angles added together will equal 180. So again, I'm going to take what I know, which is 180 degrees. I'm going to subtract it from the angle that I have, 140 degrees. And when I subtract it, I get 40 degrees. So angle X is 40 degrees. Well, is that correct? Well, we're going to check. So 140 plus 40 is 180 degrees. And so these angles are accurate. So again, just to recap, to find supplementary angles, you'll need to figure out, or complementary angles, you need to find out what are the angles, the two angles trying to create. Are they creating a complementary or are they creating a supplementary angle? Once you find out what they're trying to create, take the total and subtract it by the angle that you have, and it will give you the angle that you need. So please watch this video again if you need further explanation, or email me if you have any other questions.